Good morning, Miss Crabtree. Down, we're running. Damn it, he's still there. Don't worry about him. No, dude, if something happens to him, my parents are gonna blame me. Sit down back there! Ah! Yeah, whatever, you fat... What did you say? I said I have a bad itch.
All right. The people who said they didn't like South Park were giggling during that. I have to out them here on cable TV. Jillian, however, you confessed up front that you're a South Park fan. Why?
I mean, I think people consider it to be somewhat obscene, maybe, and somewhat violent, but I personally think it's funny. I like to watch it.
What's funny about it?
Just, I don't know, the fact that they're little animated characters. I know it's wrong. I know what they do is wrong, but I'm not going to go out and do what they do. I know the difference between right and wrong, and if people have a problem with it, and with little kids watching it, little children, I mean, there's a warning before the show that they shouldn't be, and parents should have the responsibility. They should know what their children are watching. If they don't want them to watch it, then change the channel.
You're a high school senior. In fact, you're going to Notre Dame in the fall. What did your parents say when you said you wanted to watch South Park?
I mean, my mother really doesn't have that much of a problem with it. My dad says, you know, turn this off. But they know I know the difference between right and wrong. They know it's not gonna affect me and make me like a more violent person then.
Who has a problem with South Park? Who doesn't like it? Mary Byrne?
No, I happen, that's not what I...
You're a South Park fan?
No. I think South Park is fine. I think it's funny. I think it's satire. I've only watched it once. What I actually was going to go in a slightly different direction here, but on the point, which is that these kind of discussions always get into finger pointing. It's TV's fault, it's the parents' fault, it's always somebody else's fault. When I think the solution is to realize that everybody's got a responsibility here. Like your point, and that's what made me think of it, that, you know, it's on at 10 o'clock, and if parents don't want kids to watch it, then that's their decision. But how do parents become informed about what's on television? What's their responsibility?
Bill Baker, what's your problem with South Park?
Well, I don't like South Park because I think that it is adult humor, adult off-color humor under the guise of appearance of a children's television show. And I think that's the entrapment. I think there's a certain amount of entrapment is there. And I'd like to respond to what she said, too, and about what the student said about parents and about the parents can, you know, help make those decisions. Most parents I know are working. And the television is present in the home and becomes the babysitter because the parents have no other choice, because they're at work. So, you know, to blame the parents for, you know, allowing the kids to watch these programs, this stuff is pouring into the house the way mail comes in through my mailbox.
Greg Fagan of TV Guide.
I agree.
Do you think that, I'll get to you in a second, Rolanda, I promise.
Sure.
Do you think that South Park will go the way of Beavis and Butthead, which made a big splash, didn't stay around very long? It had shock value.
Well,
that
actually,
gets old, right?
Beavis and Butthead ran a couple of years and was pretty successful, and then they did the movie, and the movie was very successful. But then it sort of ran out of gas. I think South Park, especially as evidenced by the April 1st edition, is really already starting to lose some of its steam.
Explain to us what happened there on April Fool's Day.
They put together this whole April Fool's Day thing where they were going to reveal Cartman's mother, Cartman being one of the characters.
Cartman's
father,
boy who gets,
yes.
no, it's Kenny who gets killed every week.
Kenny gets killed every week,
and
Cartman's fat, and Cartman was, they were going to reveal who Cartman's father was. They didn't do it. Instead, they did a spoof, and they said that it was going to be sort of a, you know, that everybody should be getting the joke. Oh, well, we didn't reveal it. We promoted that we were going to reveal it, but we didn't because we're a comedy network, and it's a joke. Well, about 2,000 people at least didn't think it was a joke. They were inundated with mail. Now they've announced that they're going to have to push forward the air date for that, you know, for that program, because suddenly they realize that they've sort of damaged the golden goose here.
So is that an example of the free market at work in its own way, even on a comedy network where people are sort of volunteering themselves to be humbugged? They don't want to be humbugged that much.
Yes, and we have these shows every few years. Is TV ruining America? From this very town, Secaucus, New Jersey, we had Morton Downey, who was ruining America. He's gone. He's forgotten. Blooper shows are forgotten. Current affairs forgotten. Tabloid shows forgotten. Why? Because the audience is smart. They have taste. They pick who runs the country. They pick the good TV shows.
Well,
and
so
if you mess with them, whether it's that or a bad shower scene in Dallas, they'll get mad at you when you're gone.
And let me ask you about this, Rolanda. I mean, I grew up watching Charlie's Angels and Three's Company, and it was just going to be the downfall of civilization. And I turned out pretty much okay, and so did my peers. Is this just the same?
And so did I, Jody.
Same generational discussion we have every 10 or 20 years, or every 2 or 3 years?
I think it is America at work at its best. I mean, we're so big on the First Amendment right, our freedom to express ourselves, and I think that with all of this talk, whether it's on South Park or whether it's on Jerry Springer or whether it's on something else, is a great time for us to sit down and have a conversation about our rights in America. This is a wonderful country, and I love the fact that something is egging us on to make a discussion about it and maybe set some type of boundaries or at least know what each other's thinking. I agree with the person. Our parents in this nation are out working and our kids are at home. But to say that television has the responsibility to influence kids, it's kind of like saying the refrigerator in that kitchen is the thing that's making me fat. I think that we have to...
Not that you're fat, I blame mine,
It's how I use that stuff in that refrigerator that's going to determine how it works on me. But I think that...
Let's follow up on that. I mean, okay, maybe there is a lot of stuff on TV that isn't really good for us, but what is its net effect on society? Johnny Kim, you are a probation officer. Any of your clients here today?
No.
Don't recognize anybody? You're not a social scientist, obviously, but from what you see, do you think that the young people that you have to deal with in the criminal justice system, do you think that they were corrupted somehow by the popular culture?
I think there is effect. It's not an overriding effect, but it's a contributing effect. And when you look at young people, because I've dealt with young people in the church setting, they go, well, if I don't want to see it, I can just turn it off. But they themselves contradict by saying that, well, my parents can tell me to turn it off. Well, which way is it? And for young people, they're in a very sensitive portion of their life. We're developing their morals. And TV shows like South Park and such, Howard Stern especially, is not helping them, or it's kind of skewing their moral development into the negative side. I mean, young people have a propensity to negative things.
All right, let me quickly grab this and come over to you here, Bert Dubrow. TV it's all about ratings, ultimately, because it's how TV makes money. You sell the ad time to the advertisers. That's how everybody gets what they're after. With some of these shows that are more controversial, are they harder to make money on, even though the ratings might be high?
I think advertisers have trouble advertising on certain shows, and certain shows clean up for that reason. I wanted to say to you earlier, back to the parents' responsibility, because I'm a big believer in that. Here I'm somebody who started some of these programs, and number one, television is not allowed on in my house during the week, and if my kids put on a talk show, and they shall remain nameless for the moment, that I think is wrong, or my wife thinks is wrong, they're not allowed to watch those shows.
How old are your kids, Bert?
My kids are 9 and 11.
Do you let them watch South Park?
No, absolutely not. I don't let them. I don't think it's for them. So therefore, they don't watch it. Do they want to watch it? Sure, they want to watch it.
Okay, let me hit you with a TV show. A TV show about some people who are selfish and arrogant. One week, they all have a contest to see who can be the master of his domain. Two of the main characters, their main point in life seems to be to have sex with as many different people as possible without having any kind of commitment. If I described that to you in a vacuum, you would say, oh, that's trash. But we're all wearing black armbands this week because Seinfeld is taping his final episode. It is the darling of the critics and the viewers alike. Jeff Jarvis, let me get you a microphone. Are we all a bunch of big, fat hypocrites?
No. Seinfeld is a great show. It's on #1. It's the best proof that Americans have taste. Look at the top of the ratings, and it is proof we have taste. Not true 20 years ago. Beverly Hillbillies that time, I grew up with wonderful schlock that is now just a campy memory. But from Cosby on, from the mid-'80s on, the truth is, if you look at the top of the ratings, where people are making money, the shows are good because the audience made them hits.
But doesn't a show like Seinfeld, even though it's aimed at yuppies, it takes place on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, it's got great demos with your college-educated people, your BMW drivers, it's about selfish, arrogant people, and that behavior is celebrated, you could say.
Is it celebrated, or are we in on the joke? I think we cannot act as if America has no sense of humor. It's a joke, and we all get it. Same with Howard Stern. Seinfeld is funny, and it makes fun of selfish people.
And people
ridicule.
Let me go to Don Belisario, TV producer. What do you think, Don?
Well, I don't think I can put Seinfeld and Howard Stern in the same pocket. I think America does have a sense of taste. I sometimes question their taste and where it goes when I see shows like that. But, you know, it's up to each individual. You keep hearing that. We come around, we blame television for the type of shows that are going on. But I have, as I said before, I have 7 children. They've grown up pretty decently. They've grown up watching television. I have not restricted what they watch.
Do you let them watch Dawson's Creek?
My 18-year-old son watches Dawson Creek. My 12-year-old daughter does not. My 7-year-old wouldn't get it.
Let's hope not. Let's hope a 7-year-old would.
Well, if television...
Because one of the plot lines that we've seen lately is a 15-year-old having an affair with his English teacher, and I tell you what, we have to take a break. When we come back, we will talk more about Dawson's Creek, what's wrong with it, what's right with it, right after this. Stay tuned.
Since Excedrin's the headache medicine,